example, if you are an entrepreneur, you want to work like relentlessly on a thing. It doesn't even need to be as an entrepreneur, but you want to be really successful at something. You don't really realize how much your health is holding you back from your potential until you get healthier. It's the same thing as, for example, if you are really drunk and you feel like you can drive a car, you only figure out it's a bad idea once you get sober. But in the moment, it feels great. But it's the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
with your health. You think that while you're still unhealthy, oh, I can do the work. But it's only when you 2, 3 months down the line where you get much healthier, you think, oh, I'm way better at this now. And
Mm,
that's sort of the way that best describes it for me. You really don't know what you're missing out on until you actually get better. So if you think you're
mm.
already operating at a good potential, think about how much more potential you have when you get healthier, basically. Of
Well, all right, Nick. Welcome, bro.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for coming on.
Course, thanks for having me.
Pleasure, pleasure. So yeah, everyone watching this video, I'll probably pre-frame the video a little bit, giving a bit of context as to me and Nick. But yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself, just who you are, what you're kind of doing day to day, what you're doing for work, that kind of thing, just so people have a bit of context.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Nick. I'm 25 years old now. Uh, I'm from the Netherlands, from Groningen, which is the only city we have really up north. I started working with AHAB, I think, a year and a half ago now. Back then, I really didn't have any routines locked in. I was working as sales, door-to-door sales, and I was also working on a documentary for Dutch television for my friend who was fighting in Ukraine at the time. And uh, really, the things I did with Ahab really helped me to get my life really on track to be able to deal with all of those things and all the stresses at the time. Right now, it's a year and a half later. I'm working on the Fight Gecko Combat series here in Dubai, which is where I'm doing the call from right now. And for the next 2 months, I'll be basically working on that nonstop and all the things I really need. So the routines, the discipline to really keep your habits locked in. Those were things I also talked about with Ahab. So it really helps me, even though we haven't worked with each other a year and a half.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we
that's
def
pretty much where I am.
sweet, sweet. And like at the time, so I believe it was like January, it was like April, May 2024. So I think at that time you were sort of transitioning out of your sales company and wanted to go
Mm-hmm.
like full on into your sales position, right? But at the time, like as you just mentioned, you were kind of struggling with routine and that kind of thing. Like what was it specifically you were facing and like how was it holding you back, you feel?
Mm,
It's a bit of a long time ago to remember, to be fair, but
yeah,
nearly two
yeah,
years.
that's the main thing because I mean, now I think about it, it's almost 2 years now,
Yeah.
even. Um, I mean, I guess the main thing holding me back is that I didn't really know where to start at that point. So I don't know, there were so many things that were shit. It was sleep, it was food, it was taking the wrong supplements. Even the water was wrong, if I remember right. Um, so there were too many factors to really check, and the main thing that you helped me with was to really get an overview of all the factors and tackle them one by one. And then every week we go to another main factor or a couple, but never all at once because that's the wrong way of going about it. We take one factor, we improve it, and then by concept of overflowing, it also spreads out into other factors and they get better as well. So slowly
Yeah.
improve from one or two factors, basically.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember like you were looks like we froze a little bit. Can you hear
Mhm.
me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, all good. Yeah, I think like you took action really well in everything, like everything I said when it came to like optimizing your sleep and your diet. Like you were one of the clients that just took everything and just did it. Like you're such a fucking action taker. Like as you've just
Mhm.
spoke to me before recording this call, like you've done a lot of things. You've led a lot of events and things, which I'll get you to speak on later on. I think it's interesting overall. But all right, guys, we just got cut off. Zoom crash. But I was pretty much saying that Nick was a really good action taker. Like he took action on everything, implemented everything, showing me his wins day by day. Like it was fucking great working with you, to be honest, because you just followed everything. And I was
Mhm.
also saying that, yeah, you're good at taking action and leading, as you've done with a few other things, which I want to get you to speak on as well, that we just spoke about before the call. But before that, I want to ask, like, how long were you sort of pushing through um, at the time where you like you didn't have a routine and maybe your energy wasn't dialed in, etc. Like, how long were you kind of pushing that hard for?
I mean, it's been something I've been doing all my life, basically, because I have, uh, I mean, my ADHD is a superpower in a lot of ways, but then some things, when things are not locked in, it's really working against me. So I don't know, struggling with routine. The first time I really figured I need routine was when uh, I was in high school and I couldn't get any girls at that time.
You
And
feel
I
like you
figured,
needed a
okay, I need
routine
to
because of
check.
that.
No, I just needed to get my life together because I was starting to figure
Uh,
out, hey, uh, this is how actually you become a better version
right.
of yourself. This is how you become the man you're supposed to be. This is how actually you should behave as a good man in society.
Mm,
And it all comes down to routine, basically, because if you sleep like shit, eat like shit, you don't train, you don't um, take care of your health, your appearance. You don't do anything interesting with your life. You don't read. You don't journal to really put your thoughts together. I mean, it only makes sense that you become a
mm,
slob in every way possible. Not just physically, but mentally as well.
mm,
So that's when I figured out, okay, I need to not only do the habits, but also do them habitually. Do the right things habitually in a form of a
mm.
routine. So you really
Yeah.
become a better version of yourself. And
Yeah.
I mean, started in high school when I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah. 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 I get what you mean. I went through a similar phase. Would you say it was kind of
Mhm.
like I like to use the word systemizing. Do you feel like your health was sort of becoming systemized? Like it was just kind of automatic? It was just part of your life? Or did it kind of feel like a separate sort of thing day by day?
No, it's all integrated into one thing. Like, because if you get healthier, you get better at work. If you get better at work, you make more money, which allows you to buy better food, which makes you healthier. So it's all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
But you need to, of course, when you start out, you need to pick one factor and start with that, and then build it out from there.
Mm.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
so.
Yeah, 100%. I think they all kind of intertwine together. It's one thing I focus on with all of my clients. I don't want healthy habits and that kind of thing to feel like a separate thing. I want it to be just intertwined with their business schedule. So it just happens automatically, right? But just
Yeah,
so
because when
that
for
yeah, go
example, in the
ahead.
morning, if I, uh, if I wake up when my alarm goes, I take a cold shower, I take my supplements, I go to the gym, and then go work. I work way better than when I wake up 5 minutes before I'm supposed to be on my laptop, for
Yeah.
example. It just doesn't work. So
Yeah.
it's all same.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think for the guys to relate at home, in case there's someone watching this right now who is an entrepreneur, even let's say they're already making like really good money, but their health is holding them back. They don't have this health system or routine that, obviously looks after their gut health, their diet, their training, their sleep, etc. And they're feeling like shit, essentially, or they're not able to perform at their best. What would you say to these people? And like, actually, before you answer that, like, what was sort of the symptoms that you were experiencing? Like, for like most commonly, it's like brain fog, low energy, that kind of thing. But for you, like, what would you say it was?
You know, I heard this uh on a podcast recently. I'm not sure. I think it was Huberman. And to compare it a little bit, for example, if you are an entrepreneur, you want to uh, work like relentlessly on a thing. It doesn't even need to be as an entrepreneur, but you want to be really successful at something. Um, you don't really realize how much your health is holding you back from your potential until you get healthier. It's the same thing as, for example, if you are really drunk and you feel like you can drive a car, you only figure out it's a bad idea once you get sober. But in the moment, it feels great. But it's the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
with your health. You think that while you're still unhealthy, oh, I can do the work. But it's only when you 2, 3 months down the line where you get much healthier, you think, oh, I'm way better at this now. And
Mm,
that's sort of the way that best describes it for me. You really don't know what you're missing out on until you actually get better. So if you think you're
mm,
already operating at a good potential, think about how much more potential you have when you get healthier, basically.
wow. That's a really good point. That's something I want to speak about more. It's like if you've never experienced it, you have nothing to compare it to. So like people's
Hmm.
normal, like they might be operating at at like 50, 60%, but they think they're at 100 because they're so used to it and they never sort of go above that. But yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like when you feel and perform so good when your energy is so dialed in from your health and then you get like an hour less sleep or you skip a meal or you eat a bad meal, then you're like, fuck, like how was I even like performing before? You know what I mean? So you just like when you look
Hmm.
back at it, you're like, oh shit, I can really notice it. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's definitely a good point. I think people that's something people only understand once they have like a point to refer it to. But it's kind of hard to feel like there's levels. Even for me, like I'm not perfect. I know there's more levels I can do. And then once you take it to that next level, like for some people they're already doing very well, and it's like, okay, I cut down on their training a little bit so they have more recovery, assuming they don't want to be an athlete and they're optimizing for energy and focus. And I upgrade their food quality to
Hmm.
organic, grass fed, then they just feel so much better. They're like, wow, like I didn't know that you could feel this much better. It's like, yeah, bro, like there's levels to health and how good you can feel. I think it can be
Yeah.
spiritual as well. Like it's just like an energy thing. So I find it really interesting.
Hmm. It is. I agree.
Yeah. What would you say to people um in that stage where they're kind of not really that dialed in with their health and maybe they know what to do, but they're struggling to implement it because they're just so busy as an entrepreneur. Like, what would you say to them?
They're busy to get healthy.
Like, they basically feel like they're so busy with their work and their business that they feel like they don't really have time to optimize their health, even though they're already kind of suffering already. Like, they're getting brain fog and low energy, their sleep is not that good, they're not eating clean, that
I
kind of
mean,
stuff.
me you lose more time because of brain fog than you would lose optimizing your health, I think. Because if you optimize your health, you would be more efficient at the work you're doing. So, uh, if you're now operating at, I don't know, 60%, something like that, because of the brain fog, and once you optimize your health and you can operate at 90%, you've definitely gained more time back by optimizing your health than you would have kept by not optimizing it. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. I think that's a bit short-sighted if people think like that.
Hmm. Hmm. For yourself, like what did you think it was at the time? Were you aware that how you were feeling was due to your health, or did you think it was something else?
Mm, I mean, health also because of lack of direction at the time because I didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do.
Mm,
Uh, but health was definitely the biggest one,
mm,
because once you get your health better, you start making better decisions as well, and you can think more clearly about stuff, and you are better at making a decision in the direction you actually want to go to. So
mm.
health is the biggest, has always been the biggest hurdle.
Fair, fair. And I can't really remember at the time. Obviously, I would have asked you this like the day we spoke when we worked together. But what things did you already try in the past to like optimize your health that didn't work out in the end?
Uh, I don't know. I think I know at one point I was getting obsessed with these excessive morning routines. That I because I found so many YouTube videos at the time when I was 16 or 17 that they all gave a different idea what a morning routine looked like. So I just glued them to each other. And at one point, I had a morning routine of an hour and a half, which was way too long, obviously, and it just takes the point of a morning routine away.
Yeah.
Uh, I tried a vegan diet at one point. That was definitely a bad idea. I tried intermittent fasting to the point that I didn't eat for 3 days.
That's not
Uh,
intermittent fasting. That's like that's like a long fast.
yeah, that's just
Yeah.
fasting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. None of those
Which
things
is
really
healthy
helped.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but I was doing it at least once a week, not eating 3 days.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that was bad. Um, but yeah, lot of things too excessively, I think. I got inspired by a lot of things and I did them in excess. And I
Mm,
think that's been the main thing.
yeah. That's usually the common ones that a lot of sort of entrepreneurs try before they take a proper systems approach to like fixing their health. It's like the routines and the supplements and that kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
did you like before we started, or I guess like right when we started work together, did you have any doubts around like anything, like you getting results, like me, the program, health overall? Like I know it's hard to it might be hard to remember, but
But yeah, I don't really remember, but probably I was worried about getting results, but that's normal when you start something new.
yeah,
But in the end, as I got healthier, then that doubt took care of itself.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so yeah, that's the only doubt. Like whenever you try a new program or whenever you make a decision, you're always wondering, oh, will this work out or not? And then you hope it does. But I
mm,
I, I would say it worked out.
yeah, yeah, for sure. What was there anything that surprised you throughout the whole process?
Uh, I mean, not surprising in a way that there was something really out of bounds that I did not expect. Uh, I mean, I guess surprising how simple it can be because we think
Mm,
too hard about some things. Well, it's actually very simple. Maybe that's the main thing.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
because some things I think instinctively know everybody knows what they are supposed to be doing, and sometimes they use as an excuse, "Oh, I don't know how to fix my health."
mm,
But I mean, we all know that a little broccoli at dinner doesn't hurt, or that when you're fat, you might want to do some push-ups and sit-ups. We all know that that's it, but sometimes you really need to tell
yeah,
someone to tell you how it is, basically.
yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely a big um sort of not really a split, but there's usually two kinds of people. One is the people who sort of just don't really know how to go about optimizing their health, whether it's getting in shape, improving their gut health, sleeping better. And then there's also people who know how to do it, but they just can't do it for whatever reason, business, life. They can't really systemize it, um,
Uh-huh.
which I find is interesting. And I work with people who are on both sides, right? I think for you, you were sort of what would you say you were? I don't really know. I'd say maybe it was like a bit of a mix.
Yeah, maybe a mix. Maybe a mix, but then as I got better with it, I was more of the second, I think, instead of the former. I was just making excuses. Like
Yeah,
I knew that I should be eating better, sleeping better, but I was just making excuses for it, which was on me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Did anything feel a lot easier than you would have expected when it came to like optimizing your health?
Yeah, sleeping schedule. Just going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time.
Yeah.
That's definitely the easiest. That was, you know, the first night is shit because you're not used to going to bed at that time, and then you feel groggy throughout the next day. But because you're groggy, you get to sleep easier the next day, so it
Mm,
all pays off. And within 2 or 3 days, the sleeping schedule can be pretty dialed already.
mm. Yeah, and I think scheduling was one thing. Like with all my clients, I really look at their schedule and figure out how we can sort of intertwine their healthy habits into their business schedule. And so yeah, looking at
Hmm.
someone's schedule is super important because I remember you were you doing door to door at the time? I can't remember. I think maybe you were
Yeah, I was.
transitioning off it. Yeah, so I was taking
No, I
into
was.
account like when you were working and then when you should sleep, when you should eat, when you should train, how you should train, what you should eat, that kind of thing, which is super important. Um, what do you think is? Oh, there we are.
Yeah, we.
Cheers.
I still have it.
Nice one.
I love these things.
Yeah, me too. It's with me everywhere I go in the planet, everywhere.
Same.
Performance and health boosting, biohack 101. We can't tell
Yeah.
the audience what these are. They're gonna have to find out one way or the other.
Yeah, move to Thailand, Habibi.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, what do you think is like? There's definitely a lot of people that feel like they can do all this stuff on their own, right? And I don't even think that they can't. I think you can, but I think it's for me. I'll let you answer. But what's your thoughts on that? People who say, oh, "I'll just do it on my own," but these are people who've pretty much been struggling to optimize their health and performance for like a long time.
I mean, you can do it on your own. Um, I mean, obviously now I'm doing it on my own, and there wasn't really any new information to me. But it's the it's easier to hold someone else accountable than yourself. So it's good to have someone hold you accountable. Because if you are the one holding yourself accountable the whole time, it's easier to slip up. Well, if you have an angry Ahab looking guy looking over your shoulder, then that might motivate you more to actually do the thing. So yes, you can, but it's easier because of accountability.
Hmm.
That's
Nice.
the same reason, for example, I now in that accountability group in the new elite, posting every day about the routines. I could just do the routines by myself and not be involved in that group chat, but I know that if I do that, I'll tend more to skip the gym, I'll eat more like shit, or I don't sleep at the right times, all of those things.
Hmm.
Well, in those group chat, I know there's 100 people watching me that they see every day that I post there, and if I slip up one day,
Hmm.
they'll be like, "Oh, what's going on there?" So it makes you not want to slip up.
Hmm. 100%.
Mm.
Is there some things that you learned that you're gonna do forever? For example, some people know how to like manipulate their circadian rhythm or like avoid blue light or little hacks to like get their meals organized easier. Like, what things have you taken away, if any, that you're kind of gonna use forever?
No screens 1 hour for bed. That's a given now. Like 1 hour before bed, I put all my screens away. I just do a bit of journaling sometimes, although I don't really like to journal that close to bed because it makes you think a bit
Think a
too
lot,
much.
yeah.
Yeah. But I like to read now a lot. So,
Yeah.
uh, I didn't used to. As a kid, I loved reading, and then I didn't read for ages, and now I'm reading a huge book, biography of Napoleon, and I finished it in almost a month, which sounds like a long time to finish a book, but I'm only reading at night, and it's 1,000 pages that book. And
Mm,
before I would never really read books, and now I just have it part of my evening routine. And helps me wind down before bed, and I actually sleep deeper, and I actually have better quality overall.
mm,
So
beautiful.
1 hour before bed, no screens, and only reading. That really helps you in all the best possible ways.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not really the kind to read before bed, but I know for a lot of people that really works with them. I'm more of like I'll listen to like a Joe Rogan podcast and just kind of doze off.
Oh no, I could never do that. That makes my mind race.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say you're really like, how confident are you when it comes to just managing your health day to day? Like even when you're traveling, like if you want to get good sleep and have the right diet and train, and how confident are you to do it like on your own, like with the knowledge and the skills and the experience you have?
Oh, right now it's a 9.5. There's always some doubt, of course, but I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't working out. So
Yeah,
that's the main thing. So I'm very confident that right now it's working.
sweet.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's
only
what.
because after, I had someone pushing me and really get the right habits in, but now I don't need that person to look over my shoulder anymore, but because I can do it by myself.
Mm, for sure. That's one thing I really want all my clients to understand. After the program, I want them to be able to like they have the tools to create their own system, like, and they
Hmm.
understand the principles behind like why we do this, why we avoid blue light, why we do this, so they can use it forever. Like, they
Yeah.
don't need to study about the microbes and the bacteria and the mitochondria. Like, I'm not going health science mode on them. I'm just helping them manage their own like health and performance to just live better day by day. So that's one thing
Yeah,
that's a
makes
big
sense.
focus. So that's good to hear, bro. And
Hmm.
obviously, like when we worked together, that was a while ago. I've definitely, I'd like to assume that my product has improved, my coaching has improved. But yeah. What would you say? What was like hard, you think, about implementing what I wanted you to implement at the time?
I mean, this wasn't really hard. It was just getting started that was annoying. The first every time we made a change, the first week of it was always shit because it's new.
Mm,
But it wasn't the thing itself that was hard. It was just the process of implementing it, and that was for everything because you have to
mm,
get used to it. I mean, your routines, your habits are not built around it because you've been doing a different thing for so long. So it's just getting the new habit in that was challenging, I would say. If I
mm.
had to pick something, that would be it. But it's
Yeah,
not either the sleep or the diet or the no screens before bed that was hard. It was just implementing it.
yeah. Do you mean like because it's like a new thing, like it's like a change, or?
Yeah, because it's changed, you're not used to it, so you have to consciously think about it that, oh, we're not doing the habitual thing, we're doing a new habit. And slowly, as time goes on, it becomes better and more habitual, of course, but
Mm, yeah.
that's how it went.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, with like what we do is connected to like who we are. So like whenever we start doing different things, like even like small things that might seem normal to you now, like avoiding screens an hour before bed or going outside to get light to stay your circadian rhythm, stuff like that. Like when
Hmm.
you first introduce it, it's like there's like this weird conflict kind of thing where it's like what the fuck is this? Like why am I doing this? But you do it because you obviously you're working with a coach and that kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's kind of like an identity thing, and then you get used to it, and you see the benefits, and you it becomes a habit, and then it just becomes like a part of your identity, and then you just
Hmm.
kind of do it automatically, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. What was I gonna ask you? Who do
I
you
don't know.
think that? Tell me. Who
Yeah.
do you think that this would like benefit? Obviously, I work with busy entrepreneurs, but what
I
kind
mean,
of
just
person do
busy.
you think this will benefit?
I mean, just performers, high performers, entrepreneurs who, I don't know, anyone who thinks that, for example, when I said you don't really know uh, what you're missing out on until you have your health dialed in. If they were like uh, nodding like, oh, that might be me, like I might want to try uh, getting healthier and then make a decision of whether I was actually performing well. Or all the people who were shaking their heads at that, like, oh no, I'm super healthy, then maybe those are the people that might want to try it. Like,
Hmm.
actually, anyone who was moved by that answer, that might be a good thing to try.
Hmm. Yeah. When from like before and after working together, would you say you had like any beliefs change towards how you see health? Or did you
I
even
don't know if
would you say you
I
got
don't know
like
if
an
my
identity
beliefs.
shift?
Oh, identity, absolutely, because I definitely see myself as someone that's way more disciplined even now. Because if if you're not disciplined with anything, especially your health, you cannot really perform at your best in life. So it's the whole discipline thing and doing the same boring thing over and over again because you know it's good for you, and it's ultimately because it's good for you, it's good for your performance. Because of that, that was a big change, I would say.
Mm,
But I wouldn't say I have any beliefs changed about health. Because health, I mean, always my beliefs about that were consistent. It's just about how I see my attitude towards implementing it in a disciplinary way.
mm, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think you've answered all the questions. Why don't you tell people about because I think it's really interesting. Tell people about the things you've organized in the past, the ones that we spoke about a little bit earlier, and also
Yeah.
just tell people what you're doing now that you're working with Fight Gecko on the fight series.
Yeah, so a couple of things I've organized in the past. So I'm from Groningen, which is a small city in the Netherlands. When the war broke out in Ukraine at the start of 2022, me and my friends were the ones that organized, I mean, all the fundraisers, the protests in the city. So the big protests had, I think, around 4,000 people showing up. And my friends and I was the head organizer for it. We organized in 2 or 3 days, something like that. So there was a lot of things to do on an organizatory level. A couple years later, one of my best friends actually volunteered to fight as a volunteer in Ukraine. And then I got in touch with a Dutch television channel, and we organized like a whole documentary series or part of a documentary series to go to the front lines in Ukraine. Well, not literally the front, but I think like 30 kilometers away from it. So that was something to organize. Right now, it's uh, because I'm in Dubai for a reason. I am working with Fight Gecko, who organizes his own fight night experience here in Dubai, the Fight Gecko Combat Series. And he's organized 2 editions of it so far, but it's growing really fast and growing really well. So
Sick.
obviously he cannot do it all by himself. So I was flown here to Dubai to help him accomplish that. So I'm like the head of operations at the moment, like operations manager. We don't really have a name for it. I just do it basically. It's not really
Yeah.
that formal, but I do what head of operations or operational manager would do here. So the 5th,
Sick.
14th of April, if anyone is watching, they want to come, you are invited. You can buy tickets.
Sweet. It's on stream as well, right? Pay-per-view.
Yeah, we stream it for free on YouTube, on
Oh,
the
for free.
Fight Gecko. Yeah, on YouTube it will be streamed for free. It's just the physical tickets for the theater that you will have to pay for, but
Yeah.
it will be streamed for free on his YouTube channel.
Sweet. Yeah, I love it. I want to fight.
14th of April.
I think I will fight on those one day. I've said that for a while. I've got a few fights under my belt. I know, like, is it safe to explain it as it's like boxing, but in between, like the people who are fighting are influencers slash entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah, pretty much, because the way Fight Gecko describes it is that uh, if you are already successful with your life as an entrepreneur or an influencer, uh, there's two things you can do. You can either really enjoy the fruits of your labor and just lie down sipping cocktails all day on the beach, or you continue challenging yourself despite not having to. It's about seeking discomfort even when you don't have to. And what greater discomfort is there than to put yourself in front of a man that wants to kill you? So
Right.
that's sort of the idea that we have of it.
Yeah, sick. I love it. Sweet,
Mm.
bro. Thank you, Nick. I'll put your Instagram in the description if you want.
Oh, can you also put the
You guys
Fight
want to
Gecko
connect?
one in there?
Yeah, sure. We'll do. Send me right
Perfect.
after this. But yeah, thank you guys
Yeah,
for
well,
watching. Thank you, Nick. Catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.